breaking news. P. Diddy has the ultimate breakdown during the New Year's, Christmas, Thanksgiving holiday. This is what the word is. We're going to play the live footage. You decide, you let me know. I'm going to give you my intake. You're going to hear their intake, and we're going to take all kinds of intakes. But until then, if you want to see more of these prison stories, see something different, go to Unique Mecca Audio Prison Stories, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Go to Mecca Audio TV, subscribe, hit the notification bell. And right here at Unique Mecca Audio, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and you already know what to do with the like. All right? You know what it is. Unique Mecca Audio, man. This right here, they saying that P. Diddy had the ultimate breakdown. We're going to play this through. Don't miss a word. Make sure you pay attention, because I'm going to let you know what it's really like on the inside. They're going to tell you what they think it's like on the inside, and you're going to make the decision. All right?
P. Diddy ringing in the new year with a jailhouse meltdown, at least according to some new reports. All this comes as the disgraced singer spends his first holiday season behind bars, and a judge rules one of his accusers can remain anonymous.
Sean Combs is a monster.
I want to speak about this now because I've witnessed everything. I think Sean Combs can get away with anything.
He already knew what he wanted.
I can be your manager, just give me a chance.
I went to a lot of puffy parties. These were the parties that you needed exclusive access to get into.
If people fear him, they respect him.
You tell me, after watching this intro, how could he have a fair trial? How could he have an impartial jury? I mean, y'all put in the comment, this joint sound like he's the biggest monster ever created, and he belongs under the... Listen to this joint, man.
Honestly, I didn't want to be around him unless there was cameras.
Nobody's shooting me. Nobody's shooting me. Nobody's shooting me.
When Puff was around, it was like, uh-oh, get it together or this could be over.
Ever since Diddy got locked up, he's been trying hard to get out on bail. Like, we're talking multiple attempts to get back to one of his fancy homes, especially this bougie apartment on the Upper East Side of New York. Just last month, his team went in for their third try, asking the judge to let him chill at home under house arrest instead of being stuck in jail. At first, his defense team wanted him to be on house arrest at his Star Island mansion in Miami. But get this, that's one of the places the feds raided earlier this year. So yeah, the judge wasn't about to let that slide. Instead, they suggested Diddy stay at this 3-bedroom apartment in New York if he got bail. But yo,
hold up, did he really ask to get back in Star Island himself physically? We're not talking about his kids as anybody. I'm talking about, did he really expect them to let him back in the stash house? I mean, you know, his house? Because that's how the feds look at it. They like, we might have missed something, but if we let you in there, you're going to get to what we missed and destroy it. So never would they let him go back to Star Island. Diddy, what are you thinking?
oh, the conditions are insane. He'd have to fork over $50 million just to get out, plus deal with guards watching him 24/7. Two of them would literally live inside the apartment, and another would be stationed downstairs. And on top of that, no phones, no internet, nothing, unless it was strictly for legal stuff. Even visitors would have to be pre-approved, so only his lawyers and family could pull up.
Him bribing a hotel security worker, there was no criminal investigation. This was just a matter of personal embarrassment because he and the person in the video were in the midst of a 10-year relationship. That was difficult at times, that was toxic at times, but it was mutually so.
Hey, yeah, and like Charleston White said, you know, I know people's uncles that's like that. You know what I mean? They're in a relationship and they don't stop until they get, the woman can't get off unless she gets beat. You know what I mean? Not saying this, Cassie, let's get that straight. But there is people like that. You know what I mean? The dude can't get off unless he gets scratched all in the face and treated like, you know, that's why they have what they call dominatrix. So we don't know what type of kinky relationship they might have had going on, you know. But that's why we need to let it play out in the court of law to see what happened. And you already see a lot of these lawsuits that's coming out. They so frivolous and stupid. No other word for it but stupid. But luckily, he has $1 billion. Well, he had $1 billion chipping down, paying for lawsuits. So while he's fighting a federal lawsuit, where the lawyers probably got about 20 million out of him, you know, just for where they at right now. They're going to get over $100 million out of him, and then, you know, everybody's going to be happy. You know what I mean? Except for maybe not him. But he beat the case. He'll be extremely happy. We don't know what's going to happen, and that's what we talk about over here at Unique Mecca Audio, for you to let the evidence play out. Don't jump to conclusions. They make all kinds of videos. You're going to hear in this video, just like I even put in the title, that Diddy had a breakdown, because that's what they're saying. That's not a breakdown that he had. I'm going to break down what he had, because they taking, you know, what he had as a breakdown, because they ain't never been tested under the real fire, being in the belly of the beast. So those little things they call a breakdown, because they would be broken down.
His lawyer, Mark Agnafilo, was out here saying there was a 0% chance of Diddy being violent and hyping up the bail package as super strict, like stricter than the actual jail. His legal team tried hard to paint him as a good dude in media, too.
Why is that not a fair outcome?
What he did here is on a magnitude of unlike anybody else you could imagine. A week after these public searches were televised, he gave us his passport. His children gave us his passport. He then paid off the mortgage entirely on his Miami home, $18 million. It's instructive that he's gonna have a bail package ready so that if he was arrested, he would have something ready so that he could get out the next day and show the judge he's taking this very seriously, which he is, which is why 12 days ago, Chris, when we thought there's an indictment that may be coming, he flew to New York the very next day. And that's an extraordinary move for a defense.
You know, see, she's saying that, I'm just trying to break this down so we understand it. She's trying to say that Diddy offered $48 million to Miami mansion to show that he takes this serious. Well, no disrespect, young lady, but welcome to the feds. I dealt with him for 26 and a half years. This is how the feds looked at it, miss. They looked at it like, we taking this case and locking his black up so serious that we don't even want his $48 million or his match. Gunshots, gunshots, gunshots. You understand what I'm saying? She's saying that they don't even want his $48 million. And if you really want to know, young lady, just to let you know. It's been reported in the media that Diddy settled with Cassie. She asked for like $30 million. And the word on the street was that they settled for $100 million or better. So if you gave Cassie $100 million to keep, you know, quiet, allegedly, how you gonna offer us less than half of that? What do you think we are, crackheads? You think we Unique Mecca Audio on YouTube and would jump at 48 million? They said we not Unique Mecca Audio or 10 Toes Down or Zip with the Drip or 050 or Bullets Gotti. You know, we're not gonna jump at that 48. I don't know about the other podcasters, but Unique Mecca Audio would have jumped at that 48 million. But the Fed said gunshots, gunshots, gunshots. That's what you get, Diddy, for wearing flip-flops in public. That's what you get. The Fed said you feel so safe with us protecting you that you walk outside in New York City with flip-flops. And then you disrespect us and offer us a lousy $48 million when your woman walked away with $100? Mr. P. Diddy, that's what they're saying. I'm just translating.
Defendant who's been under investigation that he's been aware of for at least 6 months. He has done everything somebody under investigation can do.
He didn't do the one thing he could have done and the one thing a lot of us feel he should have done. So put it in the comments. Do you think the one thing that he didn't do that he should have done was run? Run, Toby, run. You should have ran like Russell Simmons, dog. No disrespect. That's what you forgot to do. But, you know, your choice. Figured your bag could get you out there. You laughed in your face at the little 48 million. Now you're thinking I should have ran.
I can't think of anything else that he could have done. He's
Run.
fighting. He's fighting, he's innocent, and he's going to be able to show it.
But guess
Run.
what? The judge wasn't buying it and shut him down again.
Run.
That's strike 3 for Diddy trying to make bail. Apparently, this whole situation hit Diddy hard. News outlets reported that spending the holidays behind bars was his breaking point. Word is he had a full-on meltdown in his cell and begged the guards to take him to the hospital. They said no, but he eventually calmed himself down by using some meditation techniques he's been practicing while locked up.
Now, that's a bunch of crap. Diddy did not have no meltdown in no cell and tell the police, go call the police. I need to go to the outside. They laid back and said, hold it. Let me do these meditation techniques that I learned in prison. Stop the crap, you two. They just say anything to run with it. Listen, man, Diddy from Mount Vernon. When you raised from the cloth of Mount Vernon, regardless if you went to private school or public school, you walk the street with real dudes. You meet real people that go through what he's going through. This now is no more than deja vu. Him hearing the stories from the elders and his comrades that he left behind that got an attitude that want to go on YouTube and talk crap about him because he elevated and grew past them. Let's ride. Now, when I say that, I want y'all to understand fully. When you're a man that you get money, like me, when I started getting money, okay, I started off breaking in houses. And I started off stealing at the local store. Now, I started off taking the emblems off the cars. Remember the emblems that used to be in the hood of the cars? I think that was my first crime. But anyway, so now I did that, and I elevated from all these crimes, and then I went over into robbing houses, then I went over into selling weed, then I went over into selling heroin, then I went over to selling cocaine, then I went over into selling crack cocaine. But as I went through all these elevations, there was a lot of my comrades that drifted back and back and back as I move forward. And then now, of course, you're going to get some that's going to feel like you left them behind because they put their trust in you. I put a video with one of the brothers that I was out here with. I come home, he's a full-blown crackhead. I run into him downtown while I was speaking to the youth over there on 2nd Avenue. And I said, what happened to you? He said, you left. I said, what does me leaving have to do with you becoming a crackhead? He said, because you was my God. I said, you looked at me as your God? I'm a criminal. I didn't care about the people that I poisoned at that time. How could you look at me as a God? He said, because I never seen anything else. The greatest thing I've ever seen was you. And this a grown man telling me this, trying to convince me why he began smoking crack cocaine and lost everything that he's living in the street. He said, because I went to prison. I had to tell him, dog, you can't hold me responsible for your choice, my nigga. Stop it. Because I'm going to keep it so real with you, right? As much as you say you love me, I'm your God, I'm going to show you how much I'm your God. If I was still selling crack cocaine and you wanted a hit right now, I would not only charge you, I would give it to you. Because I don't give a crap at that time about anyone. So how could you feel that a man that's telling you he didn't care about no one but himself to feel like that man is your God? I'm telling you this so you fully understand. No one gives a crap about us but us. Let me go back to this tape. Y'all might not understand.
Took him hours of deep breathing and focusing, but he finally got his head right again. This isn't even the first time people have questioned his mental state in there. When he first got to jail, they had him on watch. Basically, the guards kept a close eye on him to make sure he didn't hurt himself.
The story we're tracking, music mogul Sean Diddy Combs on watch at Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center after 2 judges denied his request for bail. This as a grand jury is expected to hear new testimony from workers very soon.
You see how they make that? Like, this is so big that he couldn't deal with the denial of the 2 bails, so they had to put him on. No, that's just standard procedure when you come in and you a big trigger. They put you on suicide watch because you giving up riding on a $68 million yacht to sitting in a 4x8 cell. Stop the games, but the media is making it look like he had all these breakdowns because the new information is going to the grand jury. Stop the crap, man.
That was temporary, though.
Ooh.
Afterward, he spent a few weeks in a protective unit before getting moved to general population. And that's where this holiday meltdown reportedly went down. Now, here's where it gets messy. Another source is saying all of this is cap.
Yes, I'm telling you, it's all cap. Stop the capping.
They're claiming Diddy's holding it together just fine, even though he really missed his kids and family during Christmas. I mean, Diddy's all about the holidays, so it must have been tough for him.
Yes.
But no matter what's true, one thing's for sure. This whole case is still one big question mark, and Diddy is deep in the thick of it. When Diddy first got locked up, they had him on watch, and now over the holidays, the man's been straight up begging guards to take him to the hospital. People who've seen him are saying he's looking mad different.
I hope y'all watching this is really seeing what's going on, right? I hope y'all see what's going on. This is a man that was on top of the world. Look at the footage they're showing. And now we're watching the public social media online takedown, not meltdown, takedown of one of our moguls. And he hasn't even been convicted as yet. But yet, we condemn him as a people. But we stood firm with O.J. Simpson when many of us believed he was guilty of sin because we just wanted one of us to finally beat the system that started the mass incarceration on the man. You're watching the public takedown of one of your moguls, of one of our greatest entertainers. He's innocent until proven guilty, but social media and the web and online has made him guilty, where people is asking for his castration already. They didn't even let the gavel go down on the judge's desk. They charged him, tried him, investigated him, did his appeal and everything on social media, and he's just waiting, to be sentenced. Social media don't realize how serious this game is. When you hear that they took Bad Boy Entertainment, Combs Enterprise, John Clothing Line is now owned by the feds, and they looking for new recruits to be on the new record label. And only way you could get on that label is you had to have told on X amount of men and taken them away from their family. Yes, snitch, rat, whatever you want to call it, in order to get on the new Bad Boy. You must be a certified is how the government is going to run their label. So all you rat bastards going to have a home sooner than you think.
Slimmed down, and his hair's going all gray. Clearly, all this pressure is hitting him hard. I mean, he probably thought he'd be out on bail by now, chilling at home. But nah, 3 judges already said, not today. They denied his bail every single time. He even tried to finesse house arrest with private security, but that didn't fly either. Now his team's pulled the plug on appealing, like they know it's game over on that front. Judges are saying he's not just a flight risk, but also that he might be out here trying to play puppet master with witnesses. And get this, prosecutors are claiming Diddy's been using other inmates' phone accounts to make sneaky calls.
Yo, every inmate use other people's phone account, and it's not to make sneaky calls. It's because Rayful Edmonds told the feds everything that we was doing on the phone. They called him running another drug empire from behind Lewisburg Wall. So they used that one individual's incident to take away everybody's phone time because we used to have unlimited time on the phone. But then they implemented pack numbers, which is like ID numbers you put in the phone, say your name, unique, and then it catch your voice, and then you could call your people because they only wanted you to use 300 minutes a month because of Rayful Edmonds. They said that there was so many people doing what Rayful Edmonds did, and when they did the percentage of it, it was only like 0.00001% of the population. You know, that's what it is. They accuse me of the same thing, but you know, it is what it is. Now, so that's where we at, man.
Allegedly, he's out here trying to intimidate folks. If that's true, bruh, it's not a good look. The feds are definitely on him, and you already know they're gonna bring that up when it's trial time. His defense, though, they're sticking to this whole everything was consensual narrative about those wild freak-offs. Like, they're gonna try to make it seem like the accusers are capping or switching up their stories. But the prosecutors, they're not buying it and think he's putting pressure on witnesses to change their tune before they even get to court. But this is only the beginning. The next thing in line that everyone is talking about now is the testimony because it's about to be a movie. This is what everyone's been waiting for because the victims are finally gonna step up and tell their side of the story. Here's where it gets messy. Diddy's defense team is coming hard. They're gonna dig into everything these people say, especially since some of these accusations go way back, like decades. Now, Diddy's lawyers, they've been moving kind of shady. They're out here trying to unmask some of the accusers who want to stay anonymous because they know if they make it public, it could scare people off from speaking out. Like, imagine trying to share your trauma and now the whole world knows your name. An important aspect of this story is going to be the strategy. The defense is going to jump on anything that doesn't add up. They're already calling out little inconsistencies like dates or locations that don't line up in interviews. You know how it goes. They'll be like, oh, if they got that wrong, they're lying about everything. And you know they're gonna spin it like the victims are just chasing clout or a bag.
You see the way he said it? They know they're gonna spin it. So this reporter's already taking side. They say, oh, you didn't make a you defending Diddy, you're defending Diddy. No, I'm not defending Diddy. I'm giving you both sides. This dude is already trying to put subliminally in your head that, you know, they're gonna try and spin it and say that it was just this. They're gonna try and spin it and say the victims that and the victim. Dude, you're supposed to just be reporting, let the people decide what they're gonna do. You don't sit there and try and tell the people what to do. What do you think, the people are stupid? But then again, we do got some rat bastards, you know, watching.
One case that's blowing up is that Jane Doe situation from back in 2000, where a woman accused Diddy and Jay-Z. She was only 13 at the time. A judge just ruled she can stay anonymous, but if this goes to trial, she's gonna have to testify publicly.
Good morning. From the moment this case was filed, Jay-Z's legal team fought to get it dismissed, arguing that the woman accusing him must reveal her name. But this morning, a judge ruling she doesn't have to, at least for now. The judge also had some sharp words for its lawyers, calling them out for their aggressive filings and personal attacks and asking them to tone it down.
The judge writing in a 5-page brief that the Carter's lawyers' relentless filing of combative motions containing inflammatory language and ad hominem attacks is inappropriate, a waste of judicial resources, and a tactic unlikely to benefit his client. The court will not fast-track the judicial process merely because the counsel demands it.
The counsel demands to get his client's name removed from this lawsuit and believe that his client is innocent. So he asked them to do a fast track on this case, and here's the inconsistencies and the reasons why. Do you think that anything was wrong with him doing that? You put it in the comments.
You already know the defense is gonna be ready to pounce, even though they're not 100% sure what she'll say yet. Here's the thing though, the feds are playing it smart. They're not gonna parade every single victim out there. Nah, they're picking the strongest stories, probably 5 to 10 witnesses max. And let's be real, their star player is gonna be Cassie. Why? Because they've got receipts. A whole decade of history, plus that infamous video. Now for the prosecutors, it's all about locking in those key details. Was there force, coercion, fraud? That's the line between trafficking and consensual stuff. They're drilling their witnesses to make sure their stories hit hard and stay solid, especially when Diddy's team comes in swinging. And Diddy's lawyers are sticking with the whole "it was all consensual" narrative. they're going to lean heavy on the idea that these freak-offs weren't forced. But let's be real. The jury's going to be looking at who holds up when the cross-examinations get wild. At the end of the day, the feds know this case hangs on the victim's testimony. Yeah, video evidence is great when you've got it, but most of this stuff went down behind closed doors. It's going to come down to who can tell the most convincing story and whether the jury believes it.
Period. Couldn't have said it no better. Whoever tells the most convincing story, but as they say in legal terms, whoever put the best movie script in front of the jury and persuade the jury to go to their box office.
And let's not forget the million-dollar question. Is Diddy himself going to take the stand? It's his choice as the defendant, but honestly, it's probably not a good idea. Why? Because of that damning 2016 video showing him a Cassie. If he testifies, the prosecution will shred him during cross-examination. Plus, once he's on the stand, the entire case could hinge on his testimony. It's a huge risk. If I were defending him, the strategy would be to focus on cross-examining the victims. That's the defense's best shot. And what about other celebrities? Are we going to see names like Jay-Z popping up in court? Well, it's possible. Jay-Z's name was mentioned in a recent filing from a woman who alleged he was involved in these freak-offs. If other high-profile names attended or participated in these events, their lawyers better be on standby. They could be called as witnesses.
Speaking of, in particular, Netflix docuseries that you've been working on, Diddy do it?
Right. Well, I'm surprised by the allegations, as surprised as everyone else is. Like, I didn't make the allegations. I didn't tell people to say these things. It comes out, I see it in the news like everyone else. But I did feel uncomfortable with the way you represent the idea of going to these projects.
Yo, but why 50? I gotta ask this from the street. Ain't no disrespect to 50. We love the BMF movie, the Power movie, my character in it, all of that, right? But why would you do this to another man? What's this, a black man that's not even found guilty and you know he's looking at spending the rest of his life in jail from your actions? That's just a question that I like to know. It's not to disrespect 50, not to disrespect you 50, 'cause I know somebody gonna send this to you. But I asked Gene Deal what was his motive when I interviewed Gene Deal. You know, I'm not going to be able to interview you and I'm not going to get a chance to interview you. Would love to interview you. If you could sit in front of me would be very educational for the youth. But my question to you, 50, is what is your motive for trying to get another man, much as another black man, locked away in prison for the rest of his life? It's just a question that we all want to know. And I don't need and I don't want the podcasters making videos telling me what you think or why you think, 50's motive is. No. I think we deserve to at least know what is your motive, 50. Maybe someone else like your motive and they want to follow suit and they don't know how to come out and follow suit. And maybe your motive is genuine. So help the ones that stuck on the fence that, has the same motives as you, but you just haven't revealed your motive. You might be able to help them. Tell us your motive. It's just a question. Okay, let's move forward.
Party with me.
Yeah. And then that swayed me away from it, just that alone.
So you didn't realize
as much stuff was coming. Like when I seen today, it was allegations of 3 men that said he. And it's a long time, to be honest with you. Like when people don't remember being violated for 20 years, it makes me feel a little hard.
What are your thoughts on the allegations against Jay-Z?
That was interesting. When I was saying things, not knowing exactly what I was saying, but I was going, where's Jay at? He's mad quiet. Like while the Puffy thing was going on. But it's obvious now that his team was being made aware that he was in those allegations also.
Maybe his team wasn't being aware. But you putting it out there may have 50 encourage, the lawyers and the victims to say, well, we'll make Jay-Z, co-conspirator number 2, being that we didn't reveal him in. Because 50 said some interesting things that make sense, so maybe we could use with 50 Cent to go along with what we doing. This are games they playing, 50, you from the street. You know what I mean? One of your homies is my heart. You know what I mean? I ain't got to say his name because you might not like what I'm saying, but I got to say what's right for the people because this is a gangster channel and we don't pull no punches, you know? What you're doing don't look right is all I'm going to say about that. But we need to know your motive to see if it's right or wrong. But it's up, if you don't give a crap, that just means you don't give a crap, and that's just the type of person you are, so you don't owe us any reason or explanation for your motive. Let me say that for the record. But I know you from the street, and I know you better, and it's like a black eye that they're putting on you and talking behind your back, 50. You're a powerful person now. Everybody want to get with you. I even want to get with you, keeping it 100. But I got to keep it 100. I'm not going to get with you and give up my morals and principles to get with you. No disrespect. But, you know, so you got people that's kiss ass, though. And they'll kiss your ass in your face and then talk behind your back. And those are the same ones that probably sitting at the table with you. You know what I mean? So be careful, big bro. And don't forget, wasn't they saying that your baby mother, Daphne, was connected to Diddy because they tried to say that that was your motive? I don't know. I was in prison for 3 decades, so I'm just trying to find it out. So forgive me if I said anything, you know, the wrong way, but I only know how to say one way, and that's the gangster way. All right? But it don't look good from a gangster's perspective, family, and I know you know that.
They will come when we will name names other than Sean Combs, and there's a lot of names. It's a long list already. And of course, I already know who some of these individuals are, but because of the nature of this case, we're gonna make damn sure that we're right before we do that.
Then why did you put up the chick that didn't even know that Radio City wasn't around no gas station or wasn't around no big mansion with big circular driveway? Or her daddy didn't know nothing about the incident. She said her daddy came and picked her up. Why you didn't vet that and say that before you went there? I'm just saying, just the question that the hood want to know. I know you're a great lawyer, Tony Busby. You handled the BP oil spill and got over $17 billion on that settlement. So you straight. You don't have a reason to not bring forward only cases that you're vetted and you believe in. Because I know that you're not strapped for the bag. But Jay-Z made some accusations that it might be your moral compass is off. I don't know. That's just what Jay's saying. But I see your work, and I know you an animal. And I see the way you go toe-to-toe with Jay, but, you know, you playing with a man from the projects, like he said. He know how to litigate, too.
But the names that we're going to name, assuming that our investigators confirm and corroborate what we've been told, are names that will shock you.
The civil complaint has already mentioned Celebrity B alongside Jay-Z, so don't be surprised if more names start coming out. Where there's smoke, there's fire. It's safe to say that more celebrities could be dragged into this as witnesses or even defendants in civil suits.
All right, I got to speak on that, right? Yo, what up, Khaled? What up, Diddy? But let me speak on this. He said where there's smoke, there's fire. Stop it. That came from the Supreme Court in a ruling called Eddie Richardson from Chicago, I think, Gangster Disciples versus the United States in the CCE case where they used my case to deny Eddie Richardson case all the way in Chicago, and my case was in the 4th Circuit because it was a split in the circuit with Rayful Edmonds in the 3rd Circuit and me in the 4th. And Eddie Richardson went to the Supreme Court because they used my case to deny Eddie Richardson. And in that very ruling, because I'm riding, pay attention. You can learn something if you take your time and run the tape back slow enough or put the captions on the screen. I'm telling you facts in history. So at that time, they made a statement saying in the Supreme Court ruling that, you know, what the prosecutors do is they just throw a bunch of evidence at the jury. They just throw anything under the rug, you know? And they expect them, it's like throwing wood in a fire. They expect that, you know, and you're just blowing the smoke. So you're letting the people think the fire is so big because you're just blowing the smoke. You're pushing the smoke. You know what I mean? And you just see all this smoke in the air because it just keep being pushed. Ain't nothing going in it, but you're just blowing the smoke and people look at, man, that's a big old fire. Wherever that's at, that got to be a big fire. So that's where they get where there's smoke, there's fire. But if there's no evidence, you know, it's just smoke. Smoke is another word for cap. So all that where there's smoke, there's fire. No, where there's cap, there's nothing. Where there's smoke don't mean that it's a big fire. But the bigger you make the smoke, the more you think. You understand where I'm going at? But that came from Richardson versus United States, June 1st, 1991, if you want to go look it up. All right? I know all this off the top of my head because I've been fighting with these people, so I know how they think. That's why I don't know why Diddy didn't reach out to me to help him put his defense together, because I done been there and done that. You're dealing with lawyers that's wonderful lawyers. They learned wonderfully in school, but I learned from sitting in the cage and fought my way out. You could pass all the tests you want in your school books. But if you fail that test when you're sitting in prison and lose that appeal and die in prison, game over. So I already showed you I know how to win the game.
As for the timelines, the trial is currently set for May, less than a year after Diddy's September arrest. Do we think that date will stick? Probably. Here's why. Unless the prosecution files new charges, like trafficking of minors or witness tampering, Diddy's pushing for this trial to happen ASAP. He's in custody, and sitting behind bars is a big motivator to move things along quickly. If Diddy were out on bail or house arrest, this could drag out until 2026. But being locked up has a way of speeding things up. And let's be real, it doesn't sound like Diddy's doing great in custody, so he likely wants this resolved as soon as possible. It's shaping up to be a strong case for the prosecution, but the defense isn't going to roll over either. In fact, it seems like Mark Agnifilo clocked in, and he's cooking up some heavy stuff for Diddy's defense. Here's why. Diddy just dropped a new motion in court, and everyone, by everyone I mean his crew, Justin, Quincy, and Christian, is praying this will finally turn the tide in his favor. Diddy's legal team is out here gambling big. His lawyer is taking some risky steps that could either save Diddy or backfire hard. Apparently, Diddy is claiming that some investigators in Virginia are leaking evidence to the feds. And honestly, people ain't buying it. Sounds like a classic stalling tactic to me, trying to run out the clock. But the feds are like, oh, no you don't. They clapped back with their own response, pushing for earlier pretrial disclosures. But here's what's wild. The prosecution wants to move up deadlines by 2 weeks, saying they need more time to prepare for trial. Meanwhile, Diddy's team is screaming, nah, we're already overwhelmed with all the evidence. But wait, weren't y'all the ones rushing to trial in the first place? Make it make sense.
I'm gonna make it make sense. You was a lying mother, man. I gotta say that. Stop it. If anyone know anything about a federal case, when you get a federal case, that's why they have in place what they call a speedy trial. Speedy trial, like 120 days or something, like 160 days, whatever, 6 months. So they give you a speedy trial. And the reason to go to speedy trial is because you're forcing the government to put together what they have now. Because if you drag it out, then that means they could get witnesses to say other things, to other things, to other things that'll lead them to a new superseding indictment. So you want to go fast. Defendants want to go to trial fast. What the government normally do to slow down the trial is release you on bail and figure that while you on bail, you don't want a speedy trial, because the government never wants a speedy trial. They don't even want a speedy trial in this. So don't believe the hype. The government do not want a speedy trial. If the government got all the evidence that they think they have right now, that means that they don't want no speedy trial, because they want to get a chance to bring more people and bigger names and bigger names and bigger names in than you could ever imagine. But by rushing them to go to court now, the same way Diddy's team don't have time to look over those mountains of paperwork of evidence, the same way the government don't have time. And the government got way more people working for them, looking through the paperwork, that they looked and say, here, look at this, boss. Here, look at this, boss. And they pass it over to a chain. But then Diddy's team got a chain, but it's not as big, even though they get money from them, because they got to break the chain off out of what they charging Diddy for the retainer and for the actual proceeding. So his personal lawyer is not going to sit there with, 80 people reading over his file. But the government might. And that still don't be enough time for the government. So stop the crap, man. Hey, matter of fact, let me get out of here. I hate when they talk stupid like that. There's no way Diddy don't want a speedy trial. If he go to trial right now, he only go to trial on those four corners of that one indictment we seen. The feds is going to bring another indictment, man. Mark my words. Stop the games. Y'all playing this social media crap and y'all ain't been through nothing. They can't convict Diddy on the indictment that I seen. There's no way they could convict Diddy on that indictment because they don't even list the people. They don't list the actions they did. They don't list the role in the offense. There's a whole bunch of elements that go along with that, and elements is equivalent to ingredients. That's like saying that you're baking a cake and you only got, milk and flour, you don't have no egg. You put it together, you put it in the oven, it swells up, it look like a cake, but you don't have no egg. Then that means you don't have a cake. So here you go with an indictment that got the same ingredients, that it's supposed to have the people's name, the people's roles, you know what I mean, in the offense, all of that. How much money they made, where the money went, how they crossed the state line, all of that is ingredients. And if any one of them is missing, then you don't have a violation of that statute. And that's how I would go about it. You know what I mean? But let me get out of here, man. Make sure you subscribe to Unique Mecca Audio Prison Stories to hear more of my prison stories and my, experiences. Make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell and like bell over there, and also at Mecca Audio TV. Subscribe at Mecca Audio TV, hit the notification bell, all that, and over here, Unique Mecca Audio. Let's ride out, because I'm tired of this crap, man.
Cheers, cheers, toast the crime, toast the crime, the crime, the crime, the crime. Fresh out the can of 26, heat back on the strip, getting back in the mix. What he mentions a gift. You stand up 10 toes down, and I suggest you pay attention to this. Take a little gully posse and put it in Harlem. He cut from the bottom, came up from the bottom. Drop the book, you should go and get it. The Instagram page and the YouTube, you could go and visit. Then you could consider yourself LinkedIn. Sit front row and get Jews from a kingpin. How he went through it, so you ain't gotta go do it. To not pay attention would be stupid. Talking about a man that probably put your grandfather on. Probably the reason that him and your grams got along. A man that generated millions on the block, did his time, never squilling to the cops. Mecca Audio.